Welcome to Millennium Cope. My name is Kevin, and this is.
Lucas.
All right, hell yeah. All right, so what the hell happened this week, Lucas?
Well, no, we are just talking about. You just said that you had like your Gatorade because podcasting is an intense sport.
Oh yeah, just
Um,
just like jujitsu. This is equally as hard.
yeah, so I was mentioning, we kind of talked about it before. Logan Paul's Prime. I can't find it anywhere, man.
Why do you want to drink it?
Well, no, it's his drink is no seriously. His drink is actually supposed to be really healthy. I haven't seen the full ingredients like myself, but it actually is like a low sugar kind of drink. And yeah, the reason why I was telling you, right? The reason why I think he's actually gives it to all of his guests on the show, like his home podcast, because I don't think you can actually find it in store. It's like a conspiracy theory.
So it's like
It's just
the
has.
Nintendo way of like selling stuff, just like have all this scarcity and then no one can buy the shit for 3 years.
Right. So that's why everyone comes on like the show. He's like, "Hey, have you tried my drink?" And like, "No, no." I'm like, "Well, hey, I have it right here. Actually, try it now because you fucking can't get it in the store." So yeah, I looked everywhere for it. Like I told you, I was like going to like Walmart, all the stores, like no one has it. So gotta hold out so I can
So,
get my hands on
so Logan Paul's on your shit list now.
it. No, no, I didn't say
Are
that.
are you calling him out? You turn a box, bro.
Yeah, man, that's how we get our podcast blow up immediately. Just fucking hashtag Logan Paul. Fuck you. We can't find your Prime anywhere. No, you can find it on Amazon, of course, right? If you buy it for a 24 pack for $100.
Shit, really?
No, it's not really 100, but that's like the point, right?
Yeah.
You want you to buy like a bulk. I'm like, bro, like you're telling me your product can't be bought just in the store. I can't walk into a gas station already and buy it. Like, come on, man. But
I,
yeah, I'll let you know when I get it and how it tastes.
so if you were to make a healthy sports drink, what would that look like?
But like it's like what he did. Like, yeah, that's a good question. Like what Logan Paul did. I think he did like the coconut water against low sugar. I love that. Electrolytes. Everyone I've seen come on it's like podcasts, clips and stuff. They all love the drink. That's pretty good. They say.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like you know the YouTube channel More Plates More Dates. Like he reviews all the sports or fitness supplements. Like, oh, this creatine's trash. Like the whole mixture is like wrong. Like, so I feel like you have that level of detail when it comes to actual diet stuff.
Oh yeah. No, I appreciate it. Yeah, no, the creatine. More plates, more dates. Yeah, no, actually, that too. I actually got a. I'm trying the new creatine HCl.
Yeah,
It's not the monohydrate. It's the hydrochloric.
yeah.
I think it's what it's called. But dude, did I tell you that? Did I tell
No.
you that? Yeah, because I tried it the first time I tried it, and bro, the taste was so terrible. I literally like immediately went to Google, right, and I said like um HCl is supposed to taste this bad, because I thought it was poison, dude. I'm not fucking. I thought I was poison. And sure enough, like the first couple of results that came up were like, yes, like it's supposed to taste like really sour. So it's just like extremely sour and off-putting. It's like a smaller amount than something like monohydrate,
Hmm.
but the taste is it's pretty intense. So thought I was being poisoned, and I'm fine.
So now it's an acquired taste.
Honestly, it really tastes like a sour Kool-Aid kind of thing. It's not bad now. After I try like a couple more times, I can get it down pretty easily. You gotta remember, I'm the one that like drinks. I wake up and do the apple cider vinegar, in the morning.
Okay.
And the apple cider vinegar, that shit will knock you out. That's pretty. That can.
So
I'm
so
not even fully used to that yet.
so what's that apple cider vinegar supposed to do?
That's like the blood sugar stuff.
Okay.
I think I told you about that, right? Yeah. Whenever you're eating like a high carb meal or just in the morning to like extend the fast, 100% get your apple cider vinegar in like a tablespoon. I've been doing it for a long time now, but I literally like 2 years, 2 or 3 years. But I'm telling you, man, even now the taste, it can still catch you off guard and like knock you out.
So yeah, basically don't ever eat that high.
Don't ever eat what?
Don't ever consume that high. You'll be
Yeah,
questioning your whole life choices.
yeah, it can turn your stomach upside down.
Nice. And you were showing me something that happened in the NFL world. You wanna? Can you imagine being the hotel guest there?
Bro, you saw the pictures, right?
Yeah, I saw the pictures.
So I'm saying like we have to get better. We can like eventually like pull up pictures on here like while like we're doing it.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'll be the Jamie for a while, so I'll pull that up eventually.
I'm not even
But
sure how it works. I'm not even sure we're allowed to. Yeah, I'm not even sure if we're allowed to do that.
well, on Google Images, yeah, I mean it's blurred out.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah,
and what we're talking about is like Antonio Brown, ex NFL wide receiver, just went hog wild at a hotel resort.
yeah, no, this just happened, I think, 2 days ago or whatever
Yeah.
when we're done. So if you're just now finding out about this, it's definitely worth looking at the pictures because Antonio Brown is very photogenic. I mentioned that.
I mean, I would hope so. Like, if your whole career is just being like a absolute Adonis, like in any sport, right? Like,
Yeah, no, I think it was.
you better look good, good in
Yeah,
most
no.
photos, right?
But yeah, so yeah, for people that don't know, yes, Antonio Brown had his. I think he was just bare ass naked in the whole pool. He was literally in a hotel pool with people bare ass naked, and he put his ass in a woman's face, and then started stroking his penis right in front of everybody. The life of Dubai, man. You know, life gets better. We promise.
You you think the Browns organization was like, we gotta sign this man?
We're gonna wait. You said we're gonna offer him a contract?
Yeah, we gotta offer him a contract.
Yeah, this is the kind of talent we need.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. Like, it's one of those like, normal fight or flight response. Like, some people just shut down, right? Like, I think that's one of those situations. Like, I don't think most people know how to handle that, right?
Right, you know exactly. Like the woman, people. That's a good point you mentioned, right? Because the woman's just kind of like smiling in the picture, right? But you're so shell shocked, probably is like you don't even really know where and what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, and he's a
So
professional athlete too, so like he beat most people asses, right?
yeah, well, again, back to the original, but he was bare ass naked the entire time in the pool,
Yeah.
which is just fucking crazy to me. We're talking about fight or flight. For him, I guess it was the flight because again, the fact that it looked like the pictures were censored, but it looked like his penis was hard. It looked, yeah, it looked like so he was able to get out of the like right sit in the pool, so his back's on the wall, right, and he's lifting his hips out of the water, so everyone sees his magnificent cock, and then he's like stroking it, so he's like immediately hard. So it was like, what the fuck?
Lucas, you sound like one of those Southern lawyers, just like prosecuting the case, just like, as you can see, Your Honor, his penis was hard.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. That's what I'm saying. That's a well, hell, fuck. That could be the scary part, right? What if he was actually soft and not just what it looked like? So it's actually even more. Right? Then you're arguing the fact is it a grower or a shower.
Yeah.
Maybe he was, yeah. But he got kicked out of the hotel. Right? Yeah, I definitely think I told you that too. He got kicked out of the hotel. So, but no, nothing bad happened. He just had to go to another hotel so he can just do everything over again.
So if we hear a part two of the story, he gets kicked out of another hotel.
Yeah, but again, I mean, the fact that he looked like he was enjoying himself. I mean, really, he was having a grand old time. I mean, hey, man, guy's living his best life.
What a sick fuck. And then you made a good point for a text message saying that, like, how did he not get kicked out of Tom Brady's house?
Yeah, no, yeah, it's a mission. Yeah, I mean, think about that, right? Tom Brady had let this man stay with his family. I mean, any comments on that?
The only comment I could think is like, Tom Brady must be like NyQuil to have that calming effect. Because you think about like last year when he left the game like mid game, right? I don't see Tom Brady anywhere near him, so like, as one of my other friends would say, he probably had like a bug in his ear, just like good friend something like that. But like, dude, imagine this, right? Like, imagine you had a friend like just kind of like a fuck up who always got in trouble, right? Like for like small little stuff, right? So let's say like, oh, he blew up a trash can like near a police station or something, or like
Yeah,
a museum, right?
firecrackers and trash cans.
He's like, oh, I fell in hard times, man. Can I just crash at your couch? And you let him stay. And he's good for a while, but then this man like just starts chopping trees at the park and the graffitiing them. Like,
Yeah, no, it's wild to think about.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, you know me. For those who don't know, I mean, yeah, I'm a huge Tom Brady fan. Absolutely the GOAT. As I always tell you, I thought Tom Brady was the GOAT when he had three
Well,
Super Bowls.
can you be a Tom Brady fan when you didn't know how many Super Bowls he won?
Wait, say that again. Wait, wait.
When everybody asked you how many rings he had, you said 6.
Oh yeah, we're gonna put that out there. Well, that's just again. Okay, to my point, That's how long he's been playing, and that's how long. Yeah, I told you I don't want to ride him anymore, dude. I love Tom Brady, but yeah, I mean, I was wrong, and that speaks to his greatness. He has 7 rings, not 6. That was pretty funny though. That I thought that.
Yeah, like it's. I mean, that's for a lot of these players, right? They're so great. It's kind of easy to forget, or it becomes boring. So, you know what I mean? You
Yeah,
just
I
forget.
mean, yeah. I don't want to say I'm taking it for granted per se, but it's like, I mean, yeah, I fucked up. Said 6 and a 7. I'll take
You
the
done
loss
goofed.
on that one.
You done
I
goofed.
goofed, I goofed on that. But yeah, no. So yeah, I thought Tom Brady was the greatest of all time when he had 3 rings, but now after seeing the way, I mean, some of us sat here and say I was on Antonio Brown's side. I mean, all of his other antics and shit. But now that this was so in the open and like recorded, and we got the pictures and shit, it's like, Tom, what the fuck were you thinking, letting this guy stay with your family? Again, I don't want to sit here and go all dramatic, like I lost all like respect for Tom or something. I lost even a little bit of like respect, but it's like Christ Almighty, like winning means that much to you, huh? That your kids could get,
This
like
this man has an addiction to rings.
yeah, he's got rings of power.
he's 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 the he's the NFL Thanos.
Well, you're right, but think about how sick this is. I mean, really, it is a serious kind of thing. Like, joking around about it's all fun and games, but at the same time, it was like, bro, like after what we saw Antonio Brown and like the players talk, like Tom Brady had to have known just how crazy this man was in some ways.
Well,
He's serious.
I mean, just before that, right? The whole Pittsburgh Steelers and like Oakland Raiders like fiascos, right? Like, you remember when he dyed his like mustache blonde?
No, see, that's what I'm saying. I don't even remember his past antics. So he did that, and he saw something like his house. He was like yelling at somebody or something.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I could pull up a whole list of like things he's done. There's a post on NFL Reddit.
I'm kind of curious, yeah.
Okay.
Because I remember following up at that point, and I wasn't really bothered by anything. But now seeing him put his bare ass on a woman's face and stroking his penis, it's kind of like now people don't want to talk about him. Because I didn't see this on like any kind of like Reddit post. Like all this stuff. Yeah, this was weird. I went to Reddit, went to the NFL subreddit and the Buccaneers subreddit.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he's on the subreddit or if he's even part of the Buccaneers anymore. But either way, yeah, nothing mentioned about it. I'm like, what in the heck? Like, it seems suspicious. And you have to wonder, like, did they even mention it on Sports Center or something? I don't watch that crap. We're millennials, right? We don't watch that. We
Not anymore. I mean, do you have cable?
Yeah, right.
I don't.
Yeah, we're not coping on that part.
Yeah.
We know what we're about. We're about that stream life, live service.
So
So I don't even know if they mentioned it on ESPN. Something tells me that. I mean, yeah, the topic's pretty vulgar, so I don't want to mention it. But at the same time, you'd think they would. No, I'm not kidding. They would mention that on Sports Center.
well, that's a crazy thing too, because like this was recorded, right? Like in last 10 years, a lot of things been recorded, but dude, I guarantee you, 1960s, the 80s, like, imagine this story's bad. Imagine all the stories that the players got away with in those
Got away
decades.
with. Yeah.
Like, and then probably they just got explained away by just like a turn of phrase, right? Like, he's always been like a black sheep or like a wild one, or like, that's just the way he is, right?
No, you're 100% right. You're 100% right. I mean, that speaks volume. Right. I mean, with all the kind of crap people have probably gotten away with. I mean, listen, right now, I mean, like the Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. The Shaq is actually no, Shaq didn't do anything. I'm thinking of someone else. The Kobe Bryant. I mean, God Almighty, it's like no telling what he really did.
Yeah. Well, the Shaq thing's an interesting thing because I actually heard a really interesting, not necessarily quote, but he's talking about the Boston Celtics head coach, like the cheating or whatever, and he was saying himself in his career he had cheated on his like wife. And he said he actually regretted that, dalliance with all the extramarital affairs and stuff like that because it took him away from his kids. So he said it was like worthless in the end that he missed so many years.
Oh yeah, I think I just actually too real quick. Do you have like a fan going or something?
Oh, it's my laptop. It's going hog wild right now.
Oh, that sucks because it's kind of creating like some white noise. I can hear it.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, I just wanted to mention this. No big deal.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. So you saw that Shaq quote too, then?
Yeah. It's on.
I saw it too. Yeah, because they said that. Yeah, what was that on? That was on YouTube. Short.
It's on Reddit. Well, I mean, it's probably on YouTube, but like I saw it on Reddit.
On Reddit. No, yeah. He's like because the only thing that really meant the most to him was when he came home and his kids, and say, "Hey, daddy," and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the curse of being a human. You can't really appreciate those moments, and you sit there and you're retrospective. But at the end of the day, the white women are something special.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like you said before, you take stuff for granted, right?
Yeah. Kobe Bryant, yeah. That's just right. I mean, right, this is Antonio Brown. I mean, the fact that this guy thinks he can get away with this shit. It's on camera, so it's like, well, God, you make a good point. Like, who the hell? Like, what were people really doing back then? Especially when the guys like the cocaine, all the cocaine, too.
Well, dude,
Oh, my
okay,
God.
so that's the greatest stuff. It's not just sports, right? Because like, I think in the '70s or '80s, I don't know the exact time period, but movie studios and like movie productions would actually have like accounting budgets for cocaine. So imagine that. Imagine that. Probably some of your favorite actors were just like like super intense and out of it because they're well, you know about Carrie Fisher, right? Princess Leia. She was an accomplished script doctor, so like she helped like fix scripts as well. A screenwriter known, talented as well. But dude, she did so much coke. I
No,
mean, a
yeah, I've
lot.
heard those rumors. I've heard those rumors with Carrie Fisher and stuff, and like George Lucas got like some fun with her.
Yeah. Well, I
Those are
don't know about
rumors.
that one, but
Yeah, those are rumors. We're gonna put it out there. We're not saying this is fact. Those
allegedly,
are rumors.
allegedly.
Yeah, you're right. But yeah, there's some things that had happened with George Lucas and Carrie Fisher, and uh, Star Wars is party wars, man. So did you find like a list of shit Antonio Brown did?
Well, that's why my that's why my laptop was going crazy.
Oh,
Like,
okay. Well, hey, then don't worry about
yeah,
it.
yeah, because like
Yeah,
Reddit was just I think they're having some server issues, or maybe
but
that
yeah,
list is so long that's causing issues.
sure. I mean, but either way, yeah, what Antonio Brown did, that's the last straw. I mean, the fact. Listen, I mean, it's my own fault at that point. The fact that I had to wait to see something like that to kind of realize the guy's truly insane. Well, at the same time, right, you can think of someone like Kanye West. Kanye West is a lot more insane than Antonio Brown is, but at least he's not doing something like that. Like, could you imagine Kanye doing that?
I cannot.
What would happen then?
Well, he he has his own like issues. I actually I remember when he was having that whole like Twitter spat with that SNL like people, right? I think it was like Michael Che or something like that, or whoever. And then he's like threatening like Pete Davidson. Not a good look. Like,
Yeah, but
but he's
I
in a
mean,
bad place, right?
yeah. Well, he gets. I mean, there are bound. I mean, in terms of like cancellation and stuff, I guess Kanye knows like the boundaries. Because right, Kanye's like a lot more crazier than Antonio Brown is, but at the same time, Antonio Brown crossed the line. I don't think Kanye's gonna sit there and be in a full butt naked stroking himself.
At least I
Like
hope not.
Even Kanye knows better than that. But
Yeah.
he'll sit there on TV and say George Bush doesn't care about black people. That's the kind of crazy Kanye does. It's
Or
polarizing. Gets the
or
people going.
or the other phrase from TMZ. You remember that one?
No, tell me.
Okay, this is a quote from him. I hope this hasn't clipped it inappropriately.
Oh,
But
the reading is like Brussels sprouts.
no. He was saying in the TMZ interview, Kanye West, like slavery was a choice, and then that guy like who worked at TMZ started yelling at him, and then
Yeah.
he immediately realized he had done goofed because
Dude, Kanye realized he done goof.
yeah because he's just like, oh shit, like I was not expecting this response.
Slavery is a choice. But yeah, no. Did you see the other quote he said? Because we were talking about that too. Kind of maybe moving into that territory.
Yeah.
Because he actually mentioned that too about the reading. He's like he hates reading because it's like a child eating Brussels sprouts. Like he hates it. That's what he compared it to.
Well, I know you're on that boat about reading.
But yeah, there's another Kanye's even says it too, right? I mean,
Well, actually, you know what's interesting? I actually just finished a book. It's a fiction book. It's quick. Yeah, I think you actually might like it. It's called The Stranger by Albert Camus. Um,
ooh, yeah.
Basically, like it's about in a nutshell. I'm not gonna spoil too much, but this I believe it's an Algerian Frenchman. He ends up like kind of just like detailing his life, and he ends up on an altercation on a beach, and basically he ends up on trial, and it's basically all about like kind of not necessarily like nihilism, but like absurdism. Like he basically like the trial is like somewhat of a farce, and he like it's about him dealing with it essentially, and it's just really interesting. The writer really gets you in the mind of like the character. Anyway, similar to like a lot of the movies we talked about in the past, like Everything Everywhere All at Once, or like similar thoughts about like like the phrase "nothing matters." Like how do you interpret that? Like this book kind of explores that a little bit,
Hmm.
and it actually had this really interesting analogy about like time, where it's saying uh, basically he's given the punishment or whatever the version of the punishment is. He's saying it doesn't really matter if I accept this punishment next week or 20 years from now. Like when I'm gone, like people will still exist. So it's actually very interesting book. I would recommend it for you, but quick read. Like you could read it like in a day.
Ooh, those are the kind of books I remember you start focusing on.
Yeah,
That's like
and
the future of reading. If you can't read it in a day, don't give it to
and,
me.
and it's not pretentious either. It's just like the way they talk about philosophy, like it makes sense in universe or in the story, the context of the story. It's not like a person bloviating or you know like monologuing like a supervillain. It makes pretty much sense, and it's very well written, man. Like you can actually feel or like get immersed in like this the setting. If that makes sense. Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, hey, you have me out. You can read it in a day. That's what we need to be promoting. Books that you can read it in a day. Get a little something. You're not wasting your time, and you feel like you can accomplish something. That's hopefully the future of books, not these House of Dragon. Dang, we're gonna turn a TV show into it kind of books.
So you don't like House of Dragon?
No, I do. I'm just saying that that's the book, right? It's so big that you can literally turn into like multiple season TV show.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna sit down and read this book and hate myself.
So
Rebels, bro.
are are you team Allison or Reina?
Oh yeah. Wait, so you've been watching it? Have you
Yeah,
caught up?
yeah, I'm caught up.
So you're on the you just caught up to episode 6 then.
Yes,
Finish it up.
watched the episode where they changed the
Actors.
characters. Yeah,
Yeah, time skip. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. No. Man, I don't know. I kind of don't want to be either one of their teams. Honestly, they both kind of suck.
yeah,
Like
I,
Brianna is just I don't know. Her character is not really doing anything.
yeah,
Like the time skip, she's just there and she's having kids, and I feel like what doesn't make sense to me is I feel like she would have already made like a power move.
mm,
Like she's just kind of been sitting on like the sideline. Like I'm serious. Like she's just waiting for things like to like happen. It's like you're telling me like she wouldn't think about trying to make a move already. I don't know. It doesn't seem right.
yeah. I think at that point, like it's easy to get complacent, right? So that's probably why it took so long.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, oh, actually, do you know how much the time skip actually is?
10 years, yeah,
What? See, yeah, it doesn't make sense at all. Then if it's been 10 years, because right. I mean, you're sitting there seeing them and like they're young, right? And she's arguing with like her father, the king, blah blah blah, and then like the new hair, and they're just gonna let 10 years kind of go by and like nothing happens. That right, nothing happens. Like the state of all the characters, like nothing is unchanged until that new episode, and then right, the
I
bastard father dies.
I I
Man,
think it's all like small little things, right? Like like both Allison and Reina have kids, and then like the the empire's like slowly at the edges, like rotting and falling apart, like the king. Like if you see like he lost his arm in the 10 years too, like
yeah,
that
and he's lost a lot of body parts.
yeah. His like back is all grotesque and fucked up, and like he like dude the thing is like this is all his fault essentially because he's a nice guy but he's weak, so he makes the wrong decision every single time in the whole series.
Yeah, he just sits there and he's enjoying his life, and he doesn't realize that people are plotting behind his back. But again, it's weird. I kind of don't like the time skip because again, 10 years and really nothing. If you think about it, nothing has happened. No one has died and all this. But all of a sudden, 10 years later, okay, now we can start killing off characters. Now everyone's caught back up. It seems out of place. I'm not sure if the books are like that or what, but we definitely missed something to kind of piece things together. Because I don't believe it, especially in that kind of universe that we know of, the Game of Thrones. 10 years and nothing's happened. That doesn't seem right at all.
Well, it kind like to me at least makes it can't it's believable somewhat to me because like I do feel like there's periods in life where there's complacency and then like there's just a huge burst of action, right? There's like this famous historical quote, right? There's like basically says like sometimes there's decades of peace where like that those decades feel like what's it called a day or a couple weeks, and then they're saying there's other periods in history where a couple weeks actual weeks feel like a whole century of action. I'm gonna try to find the
I can
quote.
see that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, let me rephrase it then. It's just very weak of Rihanna. Am I
Yeah,
saying it right? It's actually very weak of her then, right? I mean, she's sitting there. She wants to, sit there and have sex with Cole, and she's. I gotta be. I'm your heir, and then just 10 years go by, and she's done nothing besides just put out babies. I mean, she doesn't. Which is why, right? The queen made a move by accident with the other guy,
yeah.
and oh yeah, spoilers. We haven't made it say we're talking about spoilers, I guess, but yeah,
Once we get it good at graphics, we'll just have like a blaring air horns and spoil the talk. um,
right.
okay,
But yeah, I mean,
here's
so someone finally dies, and the queen kind of insinuated she wanted it, and now maybe Rhaena gets upset. And she's like, "Oh yeah, I have a dragon too." I don't know.
well,
Yeah,
like I totally get what you mean, but like it could also be like a good indicator, like the right hand, or like sorry, the hand of the king of the Otto Strong, or what, not Otto, but like Mr. Strong. I don't know his first name, but basically the Strong family have like kept the politicking to a minimum. So maybe he's just a really good hand. Who knows?
but remember he left though. Remember it was like the new king that or the new hand. Otto was
Yeah,
their
yeah. So,
head.
so the previous one's Otto Hightower, but the new one,
Yeah,
Mr. Strong, because I don't know his first name.
yeah.
Like maybe he just did a really good job in those 10 years, at least in terms of like the council. But who knows? I get what you're
Yeah.
saying though. It kind of doesn't seem, uh, at least for
There would have been more things that I would have.
yeah.
There would have been more things that would have happened at
Yeah.
that time. I feel like, yeah.
So here's the official quote, like I butchered. It's from Vladimir Lenin. Funny enough, there are decades when nothing happens, and then there are weeks where decades happen.
Yeah, well, that's about to happen. That's about to happen this episode, I think. Today, yeah, it's happening today, man.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to watch Rings of Power and that together, so I can have a special Sunday. We gotta start watching Rick and Morty too, bro. That's out.
Yeah, I'm like 5 episodes behind now. We saw the first episode.
Yeah, because it's on Adult Swim. Yeah,
Yeah.
something good. Um, yeah, we have to figure that out too, or something. Or I was have to wait. I wish it was put out on Adult Swim, like all the episodes.
Yeah, but I think they want people to buy the cable package, so not
Well,
gonna
they're
be
about to
cool.
get. That's what I'm saying. We can go halfsy on it, maybe. Because seriously, dude, that first episode blew my mind. I told you that already, man. I've been kind of seeing somewhat spoilers, but just people like overall thoughts. Like people are really like blown away. It seems like a pretty good season so far.
Nice.
But yeah, so that's how I do it. Got to consume entertainment. That's how we do it. And much. So I like to just aggregate everything on one day and just consume it all at once.
Yeah.
Get all the slop of food and just
You
I'll stop hours of entertainment.
you know how like the Witcher 3, the video game, the combat's like known, or it has a term called like feast or famine, right? So that's basically you with content.
Yeah, holy shit! There is no.
You're like hacking, slashing, and then just like, hey, where are all these wild boars?
Yeah, no wait. So what is that? It's in Feast or Famine. I thought that's a quest or something.
No, no, no. Like I've heard the combat described in the game. Like maybe it was just by a video game publication or like the actual game manual, but like basically feast or famine like is like I think what they're saying is like hack and slash, and then like you miss. Actually, feast or famine. Yeah, like you're either gonna be doing very well because of momentum, or you're gonna get fucked up because of momentum.
Oh, well, that definitely okay. Wasn't kind of following it, but when you said that, no, sure, it's kind of how it goes. You're either doing it right or you're not. It's like yeah, the two strings. But that's I think way better for the content wise.
Yeah.
That's kind of where we're at, like in society. With yeah, with like content and how we consume. It really is like no in between. Either you're feasting or you're a famine. You're bitching, and it's like where is this at? And right now for video games, it's a famine. For TV, it's actually a feast.
Yeah. Well, I know we had this conversation before, but like just how valuable our attention is. You know, like I don't know the exact metrics. I think for like Facebook, like per U.S. user is like $10 per year. Like they get value from you in terms of selling advertising. And then you think about like all the content you consume, video games, YouTube, you know, what have you. And then like imagine, yeah, like if you actually were productive and use that time right? Like how much more money you could make.
Yeah, I know. Oh God, don't make me feel awful. I don't want to feel awful
Well, we
about
should
something.
feel awful. You know, we want to be better, don't we?
Yeah, but remember when our yeah, but we yeah, the name of our podcast is called Millennial Cope. Right now, I want to cope a little bit. I'm coping hard, man. Because
don't
I actually
don't you want a new Toyota Camry?
get. Oh man. Yeah, well, right now we're feasting. We're doing something. Yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it right now. But the other kind of like regards, no, maybe not.
Well, like it's interesting because I really to give some context, we had some like pre-production, if you want to call it that, like discussions on like this podcast, and we were saying like Lucas was really big on driving, like dude, we gotta start producing content, and I really liked it just because like instead of consuming content, you should actually just be creating or producing it, right?
Yeah,
Like,
what's the thing though? We're gonna scare away our viewers. If viewers hear that, they're gonna be like, "Yeah, screw these guys. I need to go do something."
well, I mean, it's sometimes people just want to relax, right? That's totally fine too.
Yeah, well,
But
yeah. Right now, you guys, if everyone's relaxing, welcome, enjoy. We hope we're giving you something to think and talk about and laugh a little bit about.
yeah,
So we do here, Millennial Cope.
till we can start throwing some sponsors. This is this is sponsored by Riztali's Laughing Taffy or whatever. I don't know.
But yeah, no, for sure though. I mean, yeah, we waste a lot of time. No, it's always good to kind of have that reminder. We waste a lot of time. It really is wild to think about. I
Yeah.
hate thinking about it. But
Yeah.
and that's why again I just embrace the fact that, things are just gonna happen and I have no control, and it's just gratifying to know that you can just walk away from it and just whatever.
And I think this is why you said this would be such an interesting podcast or conversations because you know we're very similar, but also we have different philosophies too. Because I'm on the opposite in certain
Yeah,
ways.
no, we're gonna put it in our description,
Yeah.
but for the viewers, this is our first episode, even just more for ourselves. If
Yeah.
you want to kind of give a little brief background of yourself, Kevin, and just like the dichotomy between us,
Yeah.
and like
Well,
myself.
like you were saying, right? Like uh, you know, I don't have really control. Like I'm probably just more on the spectrum. Like we have a lot of control of our lives, right? Like that's what I'm saying. Like more just to shame myself. Like think about all this time, you motherfucker, that you're wasting on YouTube when you could be like programming or like building something or marketing, right? So. Um, yeah, but basically in a nutshell, like me and Lucas have been best friends since high school. Our lives have like gone like way different ways, like interweaved and gone far and spread out like for a couple of years and then back. And we can go more in detail maybe in a future podcast episode. But like
Sure, yeah.
we've kind of been talking a lot these last couple of years after like that long break of not talking to each other, not because anyone did anything, just because life got in the way. But like. Uh, and Lucas, please correct me if you think I'm mischaracterizing, but yeah, like Lucas is more like on the side of not necessarily like anti-establishment, but like, hey, let's like, what makes sense in terms of like what I'm supposed to be doing with my career and how much effort I'm putting in. Like, is that actual effort going to be rewarded? And I'm more on the side of like, you're basically the CEO of your own company, like your own brand, right? So like you might not get rewarded, but the actual experience you get like will be rewarded eventually, right? So again, it's like the dichotomy between like how much control you have like over your career and life, and like what what you can cope with, hence the name, and like what you can actually do, right? So
Yeah.
it's essentially I think the perspective difference for us is like how much is cope and how much you can actually change.
No, hey, that's a good. No, I think you said it some. Yeah, no, you said it right. You just, there's different ways to say it and stuff, and yeah, I think that's a pretty good characterization of it. Try to make it a lot more simple, guys. Kevin, he's the one that's actually super successful. I mean, hopefully you can edit this out if you want to, right? But you have a software engineer job. You know how to code. You make a lot of money. Kevin is the type of person that he's put in. I've seen him growing up, right? We've been friends since high school. Like, how long have we been friends for now? 15 years?
We met around freshman year, so that'd be roughly around 2006 or 2005. Because maybe I'm misremembering, but I feel like I met you briefly in 8th grade in middle school, but I could be wrong.
Potentially, yeah. But it's like been 15 years, you
Yeah.
say, right?
Yeah.
Average?
Yeah, 15, 16 years. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've seen from Kevin's the type of person that really puts in a lot of effort and a lot of work. you hear the things between like you got to be really smart or a hard worker. What I've seen, especially with Kevin, is being a hard worker is 100% will get you further. Kevin's the kind of person that has put in that 10 to 15 years up front, done a lot of hard work, and it's been paying off for him. So he keeps getting those, you know, that feedback, that positive feedback, and it's working. Me, you know, I'm getting by. I just find ways to get by. I mean, this kind of stuff. I mean, maybe as you could say, it's like it's a shame or tragic or whatever. But this kind of stuff doesn't excite me. So where does that kind of like put me at? My time is valuable. I only care about my time. And I get stuck in this fact that I have to work someplace for 8 hours. Against my will, it feels horrible. It does. It bothers me. And to your point too, with the whole, what are you getting back out of it? I don't really feel like I'm getting like a lot back out of it. Which is something that you have to do to kind of sit here and stick with it, to say that you're part of this society and keep going forward. But yeah, that's kind of the dichotomy that we want for this podcast, guys. Because I'm the guy that rather sit on the couch and just, get paid, and it doesn't bother me, because I believe like you're either getting scammed or you're the scammer. Straight up, that's really what it is. You got to outsmart the people that are above you, and that's what I do. I look for the easy ways out. Kevin is the kind of person that doesn't mind those hard things, and he tackles them. So from our unique perspective, we're both still here, and we get along very well, right? We have these two opposite sides, but we get along like so well. So I think that that itself speaks to pretty heavy volumes too, about kind of the world in general, and just like relationships. So yeah, it's kind of like what we wanted to like bring to the podcast. So we do think we offer like two really unique perspectives, and even though there are unique perspectives, kind of again what I was saying, right? They ultimately can be the same. Right? You find ways to kind of come together on things a lot, and yeah, we're gonna hopefully everyone can see that, and we just bring some interesting content.
Yeah, I mean, and like kind of to add to your like final point, just like there's like multiple ways to skin a cat or multiple ways to win, right? So like you have different perspectives, but like most of the time, working with other people or just living in the world, like you get different perspectives, but you end up with like the same choice, right? So
Ooh, that's interesting to think about.
Yeah, like you just have different reasonings for that choice. There's a great excerpt in the book, The One Page Marketing Plan, in terms of like buying and selling, and they're saying that like people always like to think they make choices logically or buy stuff logically, but everything in marketing and buying is emotional, and then we backwards rationalize it with logic. So the same thing with a lot of decisions, right? A lot of it's probably more perspective and emotion driven, or maybe principle driven if you want to be a little bit more or sound more enlightened. But we just explain it with logic afterwards.
No, yeah, for sure. That's definitely right on the money.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why I'm excited to do the podcast, and I think we're hoping to get more structured, and kind of present things in a better way. I talked about having that structure and unstructured kind of segments, and because we want to naturally kind of go with things too, right?
Yeah, of course. And Lucas, I have one maybe medium or intermediate goal for us. Like I'd like us to strive for is we're gonna do a podcast episode sometime next year, the year after in Japan. Because I know we both want to go to Japan.
Yeah, I was being serious.
Yeah, I'm being serious too, man.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, that sounds awesome. Let's definitely keep talking about that then. But gotta renew like my passport and shit. Have you done that recently?
Yeah. I just did it earlier this year, but no.
Did you mail it in?
Huh?
Did you mail it in?
Yes. Yeah.
So that wasn't complicated? Because that seems, I filled out the forms and stuff, and it seems like a hassle, but...
No, it wasn't too complicated. Just make sure you do it way ahead of time, so like you're not waiting the week of like a flight to actually get your passport. But if you just do it now, and then you're not gonna travel internationally to next year, it'll be fine.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think we can probably end the podcast here. Yeah. What do you think?
I think you had a great summation of what we're trying to do here, and I guess we'll see you guys next week on Millennial Cope.
Millennial Cope. Yeah, man. Two millennials, different places in life. We're all getting through it together.
Hell yeah. All right. Bye, guys.